Dr. Davis, the good doc.
And I'm Miss Imani.
Welcome to the Greenlight podcast, where we seek to educate, inform, and inspire. So, Miss Imani, what time is it?
Culture chats. Shake the room, shake the room. Okay.
Let's get into it.
Yep.
2 expelled Democrat Tennessee lawmakers.
Yeah.
They were dismissed because they were supporting gun reform, right? They were expelled from their position.
Yeah.
So, keep in mind, they were allowed to get their position back, but how do you feel if you were in that situation? Would you support the protesters or stick to protocol?
I know we had this conversation earlier. I didn't know, I had an opinion before, but I didn't know that it was against their rules, was against their contract. So prior, I would have said, yeah, you have freedom of speech, right? Everyone's yelling that. So why not give them a chance to protest for things that they believe in? But if they were already aware that it was against the rules, the fact that they decided to do that lets me know that they didn't really care about the repercussions. Or maybe they didn't expect for them to be as deep as they were.
Probably not, and you're right, but I do support the fact that they heard the people, right?
Yeah,
because a lot of people complain that, lawmakers, they have deaf ears when it comes to the concerns of the people. These particular individuals didn't. They stood up for what they believe in. There was another shooting at a school, so people were protesting, and they said, I hear you, and I support you. So
there couldn't have been another way they did that without it costing them their job originally?
Maybe.
Whether it's blog posts, TikTok,
but
something.
Is that effective, right? They wanted to support the people who voted for them, and that's why we elect lawmakers. Support me. Hear what I have to say. And the people felt like they weren't getting that. So these individuals, Justin Jones and Justin Pearson, they stood up for the people, and I applaud them for that.
I applaud them for doing what they feel is right, that supports the beliefs they have. I just want to make sure that it's not a reoccurring thing where they're going against what they're being told as well. That's like me doing whatever I want, even knowing the position that I'm in. Right. Would I get my job back?
Probably not.
Oh.
So, but that's a good point. But I don't think that was the point. I think the point was we have an issue in our country when it comes to guns, right?
Yeah.
And they were elected by the people. The people were upset. They were outraged. They supported them. I applaud lawmakers who are standing up for the people. And I think we need more of that. So even though it may have gone against protocol, fine. But in this case, I support it.
You think the protocol should have some lighter rules so that people can still support the initiatives that they care about, though?
No, not really. I mean, the rules are the
freedom of speech.
The rules are the rules, but I think we have a problem in our country, and every time it happens, they say mental health, the problem is swept under the rug, nothing changes. So they were tired of it. So the rules are fine, but their voices needed to be heard, and it made national news. It was everywhere. Mission accomplished. They did exactly what they wanted to do, and it worked.
And they got their jobs back.
And they got their jobs back.
Yeah.
But we didn't change the policy, but people are listening, and that's what we need.
Okay, I just want to make sure that's how you felt about it. Okay, so a black dad gives his son 40 acres for his birthday, for his 13-year-old son. Are you giving your son 40 acres for his 13th birthday?
50.
Oh.
Yeah, 50. So you always
want
to break the record.
One up, okay.
One up, always. But I love this story.
Right? I do too.
So at 13 years of age, he's learning the importance of land, buying land, ownership, as opposed to going to Disney World or something superficial. So I applaud the dad for doing that. And it's California, right? So it's not like a place in the country where it's not worth anything. It's California.
Exactly. And the good skill is the father passed it on to the son, because he actually bought the land years ago. He just gifted it to him. But that original seed was instilled in him by his mother. So his mother is the one who educated him on the importance of owning something, and land just happened to be something that he actually invested in. So I think it's pretty powerful that his son is seeing him be represented this way and creating that opportunity that a lot of us didn't have. My mom, Shirley, did not buy me 40 acres for my 13th birthday, but I think it's important that they see the power in owning something and having something to pass down to their children too.
And the responsibility of building that land now, or doing something with that land, because daddy gave it to you, and that's the beginning. What are you going to do to take it to the next level, right? So he has a couple years to figure that out, but I'm excited to see what he develops on that property.
Yeah, I'm excited too.
So Shakara Richardson set the record for race in 2023. So it was the Miramar Invitational, and she set a couple of records, right?
Yeah.
So how do you feel about her?
I'm proud that she is getting the recognition that she deserves. Now, I completely understand she made a mistake and she was tested positive for marijuana a couple years ago. Yes, and people keep holding her to that standard, but just bypassing all the achievements she's ever had, which is just not fair. That happens. We all make mistakes. We made stupid mistakes when we were younger. I get that. But she's doing incredible things. I mean, a record. She's the 4th fastest in the 100-meter now. That's incredible.
Yeah.
Now, I wonder how long they're going to run with that story and stop reminding us of what she did before the Olympics.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great time for women's sports, though, right? So not just Shakara, but also for Angel Reese.
Yep.
I think back-to-back weeks we're talking about women's sports, right?
I mean, women.
Right. So I think it's a
Black
great time.
women.
Black women. So I think it's a great time. And you're right. Hopefully they're not bringing up what she did. It was a mistake. She was young. I didn't like her reaction afterwards, but she was young and we make mistakes. But I'm hoping that she comes back strong. She's in the Olympics down the road and she continues to do great things.
Yeah, and she had plenty of time to like re-gauge the importance too.
And she came back and dominated, and that's what I wanted. And that shows how strong she is to overcome all that adversity and still come back and win. I love it.
You're right. I didn't think about it that way.
Because she could have gave up.
She could have got written off too.
Got written off
because they tried to cancel her.
Yeah, and she kept going. So I'm hoping that she stays on the right path.
Yeah, I think she will. All right, the TikTok band.
Are you on TikTok?
Am I? I used to be.
Either you are or you're not.
No, I'm not.
Okay.
It was too addicting.
It is. I prefer TikTok.
You're like,
over
it's
Instagram.
10 o'clock, and you look up and it's 2. I did enjoy it though.
Not that long.
Oh.
Not that long. But what's going on with TikTok?
All right, so TikTok was actually banned by the Board of Governors in March, actually, across all Florida State universities. So their reasoning and I don't want to say excuse, but their reasoning was cyber threats. And it comes at a really incredible time because the CEO was actually questioned a lot about the purpose of it and whether it should be actually shut down for good. How does that make you feel?
I totally disagree with what happened here because one, you could just take off your Wi-Fi and use your data and go on TikTok. So
I did today.
So did I.
What's the research?
On our lunch break.
Yes, on our lunch break.
So I still use TikTok, so that's not the issue. But they're concerned about data, personal information being sent to China or whatever.
Yeah.
But that's not an issue for me. And then on top of that, if they're concerned about our data, then do the same thing with Facebook, Google, Instagram. The credit companies, they get breached every other week. So our data is pretty much everywhere now. So why are you just worried about China?
Yeah.
And I prefer TikTok over anything else because I can get the information unfiltered.
Quicker,
but also unfiltered. Some of the stuff that I see on TikTok, I don't see on Instagram.
Yeah.
Because they filter out because they don't want us to see what's going on. I don't like that. I want to know what's going on.
So you want to see everything?
Everything.
I get that.
For example, Paris and France right now, they're protesting because they're trying to increase the retirement age. I don't get that stuff. I don't get those videos of trash in the streets or burning of in Paris. I don't get
about
that.
the real issues.
I get it on TikTok though, but I don't get it on Instagram.
Okay, because you're right. Because I haven't even heard of that either. But I'm not on TikTok. But the fact that you heard about it lets me and letting us know that those who are watching, we would have never had that engagement if we didn't have access to that because everything's so filtered. So you're right. My only concern is why only universities? Because these are college students, of age, who are allowed to make realistic decisions. Why not give them the choice instead of going, I don't agree with it, and then ripping it? Because they banned it in less than 3 days. It went into effect very quickly. So we don't even have other issues according to anybody else, handled that quickly. So why would something as TikTok push to the forefront?
Interesting, and I don't think we have those answers. We can speculate, and I'm not going to speculate.
Oh, you're not?
I am not. But I don't know. But it did happen, and but the good thing is you can just use your service, and you still can get on TikTok.
You're right, but I am going to message just being on the Wi-Fi. It just makes a lot more sense, but it's cool. It's fine.
All right, so we're going to take a break, but when we return, we'll have our interviews. Welcome back to the Greenlight podcast. Today we have a very special guest, Ms. Shereada Harrell. She is the Director of Career Connections at Auburn University. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Of course.
Glad to be here.
So let's get started. We do rapid fire, of course. It's our opportunity to get to know you a little bit better. All right? So here we go. FAMU Homecoming or the Essence Music Festival?
Ooh, that's hard. Essence Festival.
Why?
So I love music, and so
Okay.
that's the highlight of Essence Fest. And so I do concerts all the time, and so at Essence Fest you're guaranteed to get, you know, at least 2 great shows. So
Absolutely.
that was my
I go every year, so I totally understand why you chose that.
I've only been one time though. I loved it. I didn't do a concert though. I think I did it when Janet Jackson was there.
It makes a huge difference.
Yes.
So I went to hers, and I saw Prince. So
Me
the
too.
year
My mom
before
loves
he
Prince.
passed away,
Right.
it was
Aw.
like I was so happy to
That
have
you went.
been there, because I actually went that year strictly because I knew I had never seen Michael Jackson, never seen Whitney, never seen Luther, and I was like, I'm going to see Prince. I'm going to be able to say, because he's one of the greats.
Yeah.
So I did it, and the next year he was gone.
Unfortunately.
Oh. Well, nothing like Essence, but Family Homecoming is still my favorite.
Of course, you're an alum. All right, how about this one here? A company that's paying you $100,000 a year, or a company paying $90,000 but they match the 401k.
So that one would be the 90 and the match. And the reason I say that is because you're thinking about long-term goals. And so who's to say you're not going to get a raise in 3 months that's going to get you at the 100, and then they're still matching. So definitely I would do the 90 and the matching.
Okay, and we're gonna come back to that when we get to the.
Well, which one would you do?
Same thing. I like to think bigger picture. So I like the match because I'm always thinking about retirement. I'm always trying to plan ahead. So I would much prefer the company that's going to give me that opportunity to save more.
Okay, I agree. All right, would you do Michael Jackson or Prince?
Now that's a hard one.
Yes.
I'm going to have to say Prince.
Really?
And and the only reason I'm going to do this is because growing up, when Purple Rain came out, so first of all, my parents probably shouldn't have done this, but they went to the drive-in movie. But I had to lay down in the back seat while they watched the movie. But I heard everything.
Okay.
But that's what I did. And then I love that album. And so me and my cousins, we played like we were in a band, and played all of the songs off of that album. With keyboard, so I would have to say that.
You can't go wrong with Michael or Prince. Either one, it's winning. So, Martin, the TV show, or Fresh Prince?
Okay, I'm probably gonna get a lot of like, oh
Uh-oh.
my gosh, I can't believe
Don't say
it.
the wrong thing.
It's gonna be Fresh Prince.
I think that's the right answer.
Why? I loved Martin.
So I would say
And
Martin
the love
coming,
aspect.
Martin coming up, I didn't really like. I guess kind of was into it, but as an adult, I do like it.
Okay, what was the difference?
What you just said, you know,
Okay.
the whole Brian McKnight and watching them, you know, develop and the career piece. So I mean, like, you know, said as an adult, I didn't really get it, but now like their journeys and what all the things that they were doing, I get it as an adult. But as a, you know, young person coming up, Fresh Prince.
So you couldn't relate to it. That makes more sense.
Same. You can relate more to Will at that time when I was a teenager and the issues, college and high school. So it was more relatable. And then it was like a pure comedy, you know, appropriate for my level, as opposed to Martin. Sometimes it touched on different issues, and I wasn't there yet.
Okay, well in that case, the new Fresh Prince or the old one, the original, not the old.
They're different. They're,
Okay.
I mean, like completely different. I mean, outside of the characters, the like, you know, Jamie just said, is that that was a comedy. This is more of drama, soap opera, you know, kind of ordeal. And so there's a lot more layers. And I understand, you know, I talk to people about this all the time, that marketing and television are all looking at the genre of who are adults and who they're targeting.
Young adults, yeah.
And so, like, that's what that television show. They couldn't do Fresh Prince of Bel-Air right now for, you know, people my age or even, you know, those are in the millennial stage or whatnot. That's not going to capture their attention. It's going to be too, like, silly for them.
It probably wouldn't be full enough then.
But I enjoyed it. I loved it. Every week, we didn't have Netflix, so you have to actually be in front of the TV at 8:30, 8 o'clock to watch it. And I kind of missed that. But
And see, I didn't watch it till I was in college. My mom didn't really, sorry.
What?
Sorry.
You You didn't watch Fresh Prince
Sorry,
until college?
I didn't. My mom didn't really let us watch stuff. Not even let. It wasn't that she was keeping it from us. It just wasn't in like my reality, right? So she never really exposed it to us. Like even Martin, I didn't really watch till college, but it's because my mom didn't expose it to it. So how would I even know about it? But I appreciate it when I was older. So that's the reason why I liked it so much. But I did see like pictures of the love aspect, and I just really admired that, but I couldn't relate to it till I got older anyways. I get that.
All right, so let's talk about a couple of things that students should know when it comes to career, interviews, resume, LinkedIn, things of that nature, okay? So what advice would you give someone who's typically shy or nervous when it comes to preparing for an interview?
I always try to tell students, or even people in general, to try to break things down where it's simple for you. So finding things that you have a common, or you can relate to, that's what I would look at. So looking at the job description, researching the company, and finding things that will be easy for me to kind of remember and refer to and explain is what I would do when I'm thinking about preparing for an interview. And then looking at like my skills, what do I have? What can I bring to the table? What can I do that's similar to the things that they're looking at for their jobs? And just kind of really going through that job description is what I call their shopping list. And so if you're not bringing things to that shopping list, they're going to move on to the next place. And so you really have to be attentive to that. And it takes time to kind of go through, like I said, their website, their job description, looking at LinkedIn, who works there, is there an alum, all of these different types of things, and looking like what was that alum's journey. All of those things I think are very important to kind of think about before you put yourself out there to make the connection going to the interview.
Well, see, what students tend to struggle with the most is feeling confident. They don't have that much experience. They don't have that much experience. They just kind of don't know what to lean on. And those who are shy and nervous or even more introverted, a lot of students are, right? They have a hard time really putting themselves out there. How do they stand out even though they do have the skills, even though they are qualified? How can they allow their personality to shine even though they don't really know how to do well in social environments?
It goes back to, taking that inventory of, what have your parents, your friends, all these different people that are around you and see you, navigate life. What are those things that they say that you're good at and that you can do naturally? What are some of the things that they, pushed you to do that you didn't feel like that you could do? And kind of, use those things to help break the ice and really give them an idea, giving them that confidence. They're not expecting them to know all of the answers, because these days a lot of, with everything that has changed and happened in the past like 3 or 4 years, a lot of the usual norms that people are looking for, they've kind of taken some of those away, i.e. GPA is not necessarily a requirement in most instances right now, because they can train you for certain skill sets and different things like that. But it's more of the soft skills of wanting to do and can do that really what people are looking for. And so if you tell students to kind of think about what can they, what they already have, and being able to bring that to the table is what I think that they really should focus on.
Well, that's good to know about the GPA. I didn't even know that. They always put on the resumes.
Right. I didn't know that either. That's a good point.
Yeah.
But you brought up a good point as well. You said that the companies are willing to train you. So should a student apply for a job where they don't meet all the requirements as listed on the job description?
So there is the preferred qualifications and minimum qualifications.
Okay.
So minimum qualifications, what they really should look at is looking at the minimum qualifications, looking in the paragraph or the description to see how many times that certain things that they're asking for comes up. And if it comes up multiple times, then 9 times out of 10, that's something that they really do want them to actually have and be able to bring to the table. If not, then there is an opportunity for them to, train, or if there's a similar or transferable skill that they can say that, I've had the opportunity to work with, someone who has written for a newspaper. I've shadowed them and done these different types of things. I may not have actually done it myself, but these are things that I've done in order to expose myself to understand the business of what I'm trying to get.
So it's more about exposure and placing yourself in an environment in which you can learn from than actually truly having the set skills. like being professional at it, right? So a lot of students are doing like internships and they're around the things, and sometimes they come back with skills that are more beneficial than others. How do they transfer those skills over without feeling subconscious about not living up to the expectations of a position, right? So yeah, they don't have everything, but how can they just really lean on what they already are really good at, that they've learned from an internship?
Well, so there's so many things. So like some jobs, you know, like engineering, there's going to be things that you have to know in order to be in those fields.
Right.
But other jobs, there are things that, you know, if you are good at certain things, then make sure that you're highlighting and showing those things. Oftentimes, some places
on the resume, or just how do you highlight it?
In interviewing and conversation.
Okay.
On the resume, when you're, you know, connecting or reaching out to people, LinkedIn is a great place to network and really find, you know, connections. I always encourage students or anyone that's out looking for a job, use your alumni networks. You know, alums love to talk about themselves, especially someone else that, you know, was in their shoes and, you know, their majors. It gives them an opportunity to give back when they may not be able to give back any other time. So finding out what was their pathway, what was their journey, what were the different things, that they were exposed to and they wish that someone had helped them with or given them guidance on. Those are things that they can definitely do. And I would strongly encourage students, you know, as they're going along, you know, throughout their collegiate career, to kind of keep some type of journal, semester to semester, of what are their professional experiences, networking opportunities, people that they've come in contact with, you know, because you never know when you may, you know, need that person, or they have, you know, a skill or something that they actually could help them with, that they could have that. And so if they don't have that like journal or something that they're keeping record or track of that, then it becomes like, wait a minute, I met someone at this conference, I met someone, you know, on campus, but I can't quite remember, you know. So I strongly encourage that. LinkedIn used to have this great feature. I'm not necessarily sure why they took it away, is that when you did connect with somebody, you can put a note that was attached to them. And that way you can remember, like, oh, I met them here. And it was automatically there. But I don't know, they took it away.
So you brought up LinkedIn a few times. How important is it to have a LinkedIn profile? And the students who do have it, some of them don't know how to maximize using LinkedIn, or even making that cold message, like not a cold call, but a cold message where you see a recruiter or somebody, they don't know what to say. Any suggestions as to how they should approach? All of them really, but just approach making that message or messaging that person. How would you go about giving any advice or anything to help them with that?
Okay, so you do want to have some information, you know, some good things on your your LinkedIn, which is things that comes from your resume. Being active and involved, you know, on campus is going to be important, because sometimes you may not be able to get a job or internship, but some of the skills that you get, you know, being actively involved on campus can transfer into, you know, opportunities that you can do in a professional setting. When you're, again, it's always looking for what's the commonality between you and someone. And so when you're reaching out to people, make sure that it's a genuine reach out. And I always try to tell people to kind of be very transparent and honest. You know, I understand that, you know, you're a recruiter for XYZ company. I am a freshman. I'm really trying to learn and figure out things. Would you be open to an informational coffee, or, you know, just a 15 or 20 minute chat that we can kind of talk about what were some of the things that you encountered or went through, you know, as a student? Or what are some of the things that I can work on?
Because I use LinkedIn a lot. I mean, at FAM and J School, we have what's called Capstone, and Capstone allows you to not only create a portfolio, have an internship, but it helps you organize your LinkedIn. Professional shoots, they make us have a website. I remember having those skills. So when I did go into the real world, I already had everything I really needed to really get a job, because I kind of put myself out there through Capstone. I really benefited from those results. And I loved it. I love LinkedIn.
So, but that's good that J School made you do that, right? But for those that don't have that opportunity and they're trying to network on LinkedIn, or they keep getting rejected when they're applying for jobs, it's very discouraging. So what advice do you give those students who they're getting rejected for internships or scholarships, and they're sending their resume in and they're not getting the feedback or the results that they want?
So that's a good time for them to seek help in their career and professional development center.
Okay.
And so, you know, and walk through and have a conversation. So what are the steps and things that you've taken? Strongly encourage, to look at the striking forward plan and really look at those things. That's a kind of a map for you to at least kind of see, all right, this is what I need to do my first year. This is what I need to do my second year. And there's all types of resources on campus, you all's office, and I think the Office of Freshman Studies, all these places where, you really need to take advantage of these things. Right. I'm guilty of it. I did not use our Career Center when I was in school
Me
at
either.
all. It was like, this office, and I share this story. I knew this lady. I saw her at everything. She was always encouraging, and so I started out at a predominantly white institution, and so she was a black lady. She was a doctor. I didn't know where she worked. It wasn't until after maybe 3 years there I found out she was the director of the Career Center.
Wow.
And then I was like, but I never went to her office or any of those things. And so it's like, life has just kind of made a full circle that, the people that, are trying to connect and engage with you and offer these things, they're there and they want you, to come. But there's only so much that they can do.
Exactly.
And so, I tell students, whenever I get them, fresh, on campus, early on campus, you really should connect with these offices early and often. They're here for you. They're within your, the dollars that you are contributing to the college, to go here. Utilize these, because you're not necessarily going to have these opportunities and these things available to you after you leave. So definitely take advantage. There's people there that are going to help you and guide you, and they want to see you succeed. So definitely utilize those resources. And so going through, having that conversation, and then kind of pinpointing, okay, let's try to do different things, and then doing check-ins with them.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's what we do. That's what coaching is, right? So we have connections to the resources, but we also do check-ins. So a lot of students are a little bit more apprehensive to see us because they just don't have an idea of what we really provide. Like, what is coaching? Like, when you think of coaching, sometimes they get us confused with advisors, or they think we're just going to be like their parent and like micromanage them or something. So they're a little bit more apprehensive about it because they're nervous, because they want the freedom, but they also want the support. So it's like a duality, trying to figure out how we can best serve them. So thinking back to when you were in college, knowing that you had resources on campus, the career fair is something that we hold quite often, but some students, unless it's a requirement for school, don't necessarily attend. How would you give them advice on attending and opening themselves up to those opportunities that they otherwise would not have when they leave?
Strongly encourage them to look at whatever tool is being used to showcase who's going to be at the event. Regardless if you are actually looking right now at the time, or you're needing to fulfill a requirement for a course or whatever, definitely go. These employers are taking time out of their schedules, coming to campuses to recruit students. If they're on your campus, they want to recruit you.
Yeah.
If that well runs dry, then they're going to leave that campus and go to recruit somewhere else. So going to these events, engaging with them, showing them, because they already know that you're a talented student if you're at this university. And so you already have that one step, taken, away. But at least doing research, about, I'll say if you're nervous, set a small goal. 3 to 5 companies I'm going to talk to at this fair. Then the next semester, 5 to 10. And by the time that you're a senior, you'll be able to talk to all of the employers that are there. You'll feel comfortable in doing that.
So
Practice.
You're saying as a freshman, you recommend students to go as early as freshman year?
Oh, absolutely. I know some people do not think that that's, a great idea, but how else do they get the experience? Do you put, a child, if you're trying to teach them how to ride a bike, do you put them on the bike and just say, go? No, there's training wheels. You put those training wheels on them, like you get them, feeling comfortable and easy to go through and really, getting adjusted to it. Then you take them off the training wheels and you still kind of hold, and then you let them go on their own. And that's the same process. Just the freshman year is training.
The freshman year is training.
You still have to prepare them, because you don't want them to go to this company and say, well, what do you do? No. Like I said, and that's why I say you do 3 to 5 your first year. That way, you'll at least have the experience of seeing it and then being able to talk. So if you give them a task of doing 3 to 5 their first year, giving them an outline of, a couple of questions and things that they need to look for. Because most companies that are looking to hire leadership development, they will pretty much take all majors. And really look at those companies that are going to take all majors, because those companies are the ones who's really going to look at your skill set and wanting to do the job, and they will actually train you. They want to have, it's the, not necessarily, I don't want to say attitude, but I guess it is kind of the attitude that, you want to be a part, I want to work, I want to do this. And if you bring that, to a job, then they can work with you to get you where you need to go. Because 9 times out of 10, most people do not stay in their first job. It's an experience for them to kind of get their feet wet and really get, an understanding of what it is to, actually work. And so, and if you look at others, a lot of people aren't necessarily working with what their major was in. Major does not equal career. Major does not equal career. It's you get different skills and different things, from different places. And so, being a college student, there's so much that, you're exposed to and you're, challenged with doing that it really does help you to your advantage to at least, when they're on campus doing information sessions, when they're doing different trainings or offering these different things, take advantage of that, because there's a reason that they're doing that. They want to give you that extra boost, to put you ahead of other people, in line. So oftentimes when, they're doing these like Excel trainings or Adobe trainings and different things like that, that is an opportunity for when they have have an opening for an internship. You already have this certification that you can put on your resume. Everyone's not going to necessarily have that, and you're getting that.
So certifications carry weight?
Oh, absolutely.
In the eyes of employers?
Yeah, certifications.
Adobe just had one.
And skills. It's skills. They want to know that you have skills, and if you're doing one, certification, and there's something similar, they know that you are able to and willing to do those things.
Right. Good point. Final question for me. When it comes to negotiating salaries, right? That's always like a difficult conversation to have, because one, you don't want to get played. You want to get the most you can get, and the employer, they're trying to pay the least amount to keep you. So what do you do as a student, for a graduate? Like, what advice would you give someone to try to get the most from their employer without coming off as greedy?
So you have to be realistic. So I know when, students look at salaries and different things, when they're looking at what they can make, they're looking at the top.
Of course.
The top is not what you're going to start out with as an entry level or right out of college. So you really have to look at, how many years experience, what is your skill level? Are you beginner, intermediate, advanced? Where are you on the spectrum? Really kind of thinking about, what do I bring? And what would actually set you apart from, your colleague that, is also applying for this job? What are those things? And so doing a good, Glassdoor is a great, resource to kind of look at those salaries. And then the National Association of Colleges and Employers, they put out survey that gives you what our salary ranges for entry level or college graduates. And that's a good way to find out, like, what is someone making, or kind of going through what they're being offered for the job that you're going through. Please do not take that top salary. That top salary is pretty much, you know, someone that's been in the business and have done these things for a very long time.
So let me give you a scenario. Entry level job, and they post a range, salary range, say 40 to 55. Entry level now. So do I come at the high and say 50? I'm looking to start at 50. Or knowing I have zero experience or just graduated, like, what's a good approach to picking a number?
So you said the top was
50 or 55, 40 to 55.
40 to 55. So I always say, look at the job description, look at what you have, and you give your range of what you think that you're valued at. And you never want to give them a straight number. Always give a range. And then within that range, always, for me, and that was even, well, I didn't necessarily know before, but now, usually in that range, the number that I really want is probably 2 below what the top of the range that I've given.
2 below? Okay.
Why?
Yeah.
Because sometimes they can give you, if they give you the top of what they're going to give you, that's all you're going to probably get.
Okay.
There may not be raises, or there may be raises. Just kind of depends.
But playing devil's advocate, I'd rather get the top now as opposed to a year later. Why not try to get it now?
Well, you may not get it at all.
What do you mean?
So if you say you want the top, and they really don't have the budget to give you that.
I may not get the job?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
You may not get the job, and they don't have the budget to go there.
Right.
That's their range for that position.
I understand. Okay. Makes sense. So that's why you shouldn't ask for the top.
Yeah. I mean, and if they, you know, if there's wiggle room, sometimes they will go ahead and give you the top. But that sometimes they're kind of like, you know, let me see if I can make it happen. If, you know, you're genuine and you can come through and say, I bring, you know, a whole list of these things. This is what you're looking for. This is what I have. Like, you can't just give these things out and think, okay, no. Give that range, but then also give your, you know, your stats that's going to back it up.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show. We really appreciate it.
Well, thank you for having me. It's been fun.
Good luck at Auburn. Keep in contact, and hopefully you can come back on the show again.
Absolutely. I would do just that. Thank you.
Awesome. All right, guys, we'll be back with the announcements after this break. Hi, guys. Welcome back to the Greenlight podcast. Let's jump into our announcements. So first things on our list is advisement. Everyone has an opportunity to see their advisor now. If you're not getting in contact with them, make sure that you drop by their office hours to see when they're available so you can sign up for your summer as well as your fall classes.
That's very important. Also, make sure that you clear any holds that you may have. That could be financial hold, your financial responsibility. We want to make sure before you go home, you address any holds that you have on your account.
All right. Summer classes are coming up, so if you want to get advised, make sure that you sign up for summer classes to get ahead for the next semester. It can help with your GPA as well as your classification, so take full advantage of the opportunity. Even if you go home, do what's called a transient form, talk to your advisor about it. You can do it online, and it gives you an opportunity to take classes as you're on vacation when you're back home, and you can just get them transferred over to FAMU when you come back in the fall.
Next, we have our tutoring. Finals are coming up. They are around the corner. You have about 3 weeks left or so. Now's the time to begin to go to tutoring to get the help that you need. Don't wait until you have a final or an exam. Go now and learn a little bit every single day so when that exam comes up, you're ready. Also, friendly reminder, FAMU Scholarship Portal, the deadline is April 17th. So if you want to apply for scholarships, apply now. Even if you don't think you'll qualify, apply and let's see how things go.
All right, and in closing, wow, Okay, so professors are giving out so many opportunities to you guys right now. So I want you guys to take full advantage of those. So whether you feel as though you have an opportunity to get ahead or not, still try it. So they're offering extra credit. If they're allowing you to drop the lowest quiz grade or exam, take full opportunity of it. Get it done. Don't quit. Don't drop out of classes that you feel as though you can't, manage. Just do whatever you can do to get through the next couple of weeks, and the vacation is right around the corner. So until next time, guys, see you later.
Peace.